これはなかなか。
Hey everyone, it's been a while. Uh, I don't really know how to start this one, so yeah, I mean I wrote a script, but I'm just gonna freehand it because that's the way I work, and I just want to talk about a project I did like a while ago, almost 3 years ago. Um, it's a project that I was really proud of in the beginning, and then it just sort of sucked towards the end. I sort of have this kind of ongoing thing where I usually have a really good idea, but then I have really poor execution. And this is probably the biggest one, so I'm just gonna call this the project you'll never see, or the worst, my greatest failed project. I'm still workshopping it. Whatever I name the YouTube video, that's what we'll call it. Anyway, so I guess we should start from the beginning. During the start of 2020, a particular virus got out that sort of happened to everyone, and everyone's starting some sort of project or some sort of hobby, and I was like, I should definitely do that. Summer break is starting soon. I was in school, but summer break was starting, and I wanted to do something. So what should I do? I was like, okay, I'll just combine two of my big hobbies, making paper swords and Demon Slayer. That was it. That was the whole thing. So if you don't know, Demon Slayer is this really popular manga slash anime. It really took the world by storm, and I'm like the biggest Demon Slayer stand, I guess. I love how simplistic it is, but it also has a bit of depth, and it has made me probably cry the most amount of times ever. And I think during 2020 was when Demon Slayer ended, the manga at least. And I was like, okay, I gotta do something to sort of commemorate it, and wanting to do something big for summer, and COVID-19 basically locking us up in our houses. I was like, okay, this is it. I should make every Hashira sword or weapon as a way to sort of commemorate Demon Slayer. And that's what I did. That was the project. So if you don't know, Demon Slayer has sort of the, I guess sort of that like group that's like really famous, and they have like the strongest characters in it. And that's called the Hashira. So there's 9 Hashira, which means 9 different weapons. You have Gyu, Rengoku, Shinobu, Sanemi, Tengen, Gyome, Mitsuri, and Obanai. I think that's 9. Oh, and Mutro. As you can tell, I'm so basically during the entire summer I was like prepping for it. I was really sort of getting into it, and I was like, okay, I want to give another challenge to it. I'm gonna do this in 2 weeks, which in retrospect was a very bad idea. I think doing this in 2 weeks is insane. If you've seen the paper swords I've made, or if you've seen like I think that one YouTube video I made like a while back, this stuff takes forever, and it takes a week. At the very best, it takes a week to do, assuming you're not like procrastinating. Probably even shorter, maybe like 5-6 days. It's tough. And I thought to myself, I could do it in 2 weeks by sort of overlapping everything. So if I started one sword on day 1 and started the next sword on day 2, and then started the next sword on day 3, but also overlap working on the other swords, then I could technically do it in 2 weeks, which was such a bad idea, and it did not work. I think I got like a lot of calluses that month when I did it. It's tough. And I also decided to paint everything, which was even worse because I hate painting. these swords and stuff. Like I like them being all white, and I was like, I'm gonna paint them all, but it was very bad idea. So yeah, you know, I started prepping, I started getting designs, and I have like a Google Doc of like all reference photos, and I had templates, and I like designed and drew everything, and I really was like into it. Like this was where I was. This was my sort of like peak performance. And then I started the project. I started on like June 29th, I'm pretty sure, of 2020, which was such a bad time to start, because I'm pretty sure like June 30th was like I got like a dentist appointment, which put me back, and it was a big dentist appointment. I had like fillings and stuff, so I was kind of like in and out of it, like yeah. And then July 4th, that was also the weekend of July 4th, which was also a bad time. And then I also think some family members came over. So basically I like the first week was just incredibly hard, but overall I did get through quite a lot. Not in the 2 weeks, but in the span of like a month, because I was going back to school in like early August, so I had to get it done in a month. But even then, I don't think I got as far as I wanted to get. And you know, I'm one of those people with like a really bad sort of mental health. I still do have a really bad mental health, but I'm also one of those people who are like, I have to get it done like right away, because if something interrupts me or something stops my workflow, I'm not gonna like have the same interest or the same sort of I don't know, like power, not power, but like I don't know, just like I need to like keep doing it. I can't have interruptions. If I do have interruptions, I'm just not gonna be able to finish, and I'm not gonna have the same sort of interest that I did before. And yeah, it was just rough. And you know, I got through most of it, I would say. I did show it off to a few of my friends, and I did like I told like very few people about it, but yeah, I don't know, you know, you can sort of judge, but I'd say I got like 60 to 70% of it done. I'm just gonna, I don't know, show a clip of what I've built and stuff. Yeah, you can decide. I'm gonna say 60 to 70%. And even then, I still have like a lot of complaints about each sword. So for you, I actually think it's almost perfect. I really don't have any problems with it. I think the guard could be a bit bigger, and then the handles is just weird. I think every katana handle is just weird, like to make physically. So there's really nothing I can do. But other than that, I think it's perfect. There's really no significant issues, I guess, if you look at it like far away. So for Sanemi, I think it's actually, I don't know, I think it's also perfect too. The only big problem is that like it's not painted. And the handle is pretty much non-existent. But other than that, it's also, I guess, decently well, I guess. It just needs to be painted, that's really all it is. For OpenEye, I think it's, I don't know, kind of messy, I would say. It's technically the sturdiest out of all of them, I would say. But the curves are clearly not that symmetrical, I guess. That's really sort of like a human error issue, I guess, because I can't physically draw that because I made this, not in like a drawing software or anything like that. So yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that it looks as good as it does. I really did not expect it to look that good. The guard is kind of messy. But that's on me because I just feel like cutting like those like tiny details, if you look at it, it's really hard. And then I just have to finish the handle, and that's pretty much it. So Muchos is kind of I actually made it before I started the project. I kind of pre-made it, and I never really got around to finishing it. So that's sort of the inspiration of why I did this project, because I already had one, so I might as well make the other 8. And then weirdly enough, I did put like a lot of effort into making the blade like super flat and straight, and it ended up being like the curviest one of them all. I think that's probably due to like timing and age, I guess, because the katanas usually will bend over time. And there's also other stuff like when you glue something, you have to cut it out almost immediately within like 24 hours, or else it's gonna bend. So that also might be a reason. But other than that, I think the guard looks really well, and then I just would again have to do the handle. The handle is also like a really time consuming thing. When I made these swords, the Mugen train arc hadn't even started yet, so I had no frame of reference on how big Uzui was, because all I had was the manga, and you can obviously over exaggerate that. But yeah, when I initially started making these, most people are anime viewers only, so I could only base everything on the manga. And based off the manga, I thought they would be a lot smaller, and I didn't realize later that Tengen is like a huge dude. And so yeah, basically the biggest complaint is that these things are really small in comparison. They're around like, I want to say like 30-ish inches, and that's clearly way too small. I would say it's like roughly 40, and like width wise it should also be bigger. And of course this is basically the most incomplete one out of all of them. They are clearly, you can see that I haven't like skinned it or glued on the skin to like give it that sort of like texture, and I haven't finished the guards or even started. I haven't even started on the guards or the handles, and I didn't even know how I was going to do it at the time, because even though I was planning everything out, I still had a few things that I was just like, I'll figure it out when I get there. And yeah, so basically Tenken's is the most incomplete out of all of them. And now that I've seen the Entertainment District art, it is very clear to me that I did not do Tengen justice, so I'm sorry, Tengen. And now we have Gyome, who, in retrospect, I want to say this is the craziest thing, because no human would be able to do this, but of course, it's a fantasy, you can over-exaggerate. But it's literally a ball and chain and an axe connected by a chain. And so I really didn't know how I was going to do this, and I still didn't know, but I'm surprised that it worked as well as it did. This is technically the first axe I've ever made, and surprisingly it looks okay, it looks decent. I do think it could be a little bit bigger, but I'm like 5'11", and Gyome is like almost 7 feet, like he's pretty tall. And then the ball, you can clearly tell that it's like not even, it's not like a perfect sphere. But this was also my first time making a ball, I guess, of this size, and I'm surprised it looks as good as it does, and I'm surprised that it even holds up and that I can like somewhat kick it around. And yeah, I mean, it looks like pretty decent, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know how I was going to do the spikes and the chain and stuff. But other than that, I mean, it could be worse. And then unfortunately I sold Rengokus and Shinobus to a friend of mine. Clearly I'm kind of time stamping this, I guess, but I'm recording most of this after the fact that I sold them. But yeah, I sold them to a friend, and he said that they still held up, apparently. And honestly, they're also pretty much done. They're perfect. I don't really have much of an issue with them. I think Shinobu's guard could be a bit bigger, and I think a bit of the colors are off. Surprisingly, it's pretty structurally well. I put popsicle sticks as sort of like a support on the inner side of it, hoping that it would give it more structure and more I don't know what the word is, but whatever. And then Rengoku's is also pretty good, I would say. You can clearly tell that I don't know if it's clear, but I used Sharpie to kind of color some stuff in, and I think a lot of the colors are a bit off. But other than that, I think Rengoku's is either Rengoku or Q's is almost the perfect one. But yeah, so Mitsuri is kind of the weirdest one. The Demon Slayer describes it as a flexible blade, which is insane to do, but somehow I did it. I just want to preface that I did not give up on this one. This one it should have been the hardest, and somehow I made it work. So I just want to say that. Literally, I just I glued up pieces of paper. I lined it up, and apparently her blade is supposed to fold in 3 times, and that is so I made the blade 3 blade lengths long, if that makes sense. Anyway, you can clearly see that there's a bunch of cracks, or I wouldn't say cracks, but there's things peeling off, and that's just due to gluing. And also, it's not super flexible. You can clearly see that some parts are even though they're sort of movable, I guess, flexible, it's still kind of solid, and it's not completely flexible. And then obviously I gotta paint this, and then the handle needs to be finished. But yeah, this one is kind of unique, but I think this was the best challenge. I think Yome and Mitsuri had the, I guess, most creative, fun challenge out of this. I don't usually like doing this type of unique weapon, these type of unique weapons, just because they're harder and they require more thought. But when I do get to do them, and I do get to show off my problem solving skills, I really do enjoy making these. It's a paradox, I think. So yeah, I guess after seeing this, you can sort of make your own decision on what you think these swords are, I guess. Basically, the biggest project I've ever done, a giant failure, and a giant waste of paper. So, before you environmentalists want to get at me, this is all recycled paper. This is all paper I got from my mom's office, which is a lot of paperwork that they just threw out. So it's not, and notes that I got from school and stuff. So yeah, basically, would I ever do this again? Probably, actually. I know it sounds sort of crazy, but I did have a lot of fun doing this, and I do like doing this. I do like making paper swords or paper weapons, even though it's not like it's a pretty underrated, pretty unknown hobby. But it's a hobby I like, it's a hobby I love, and it's kind of who I am at this point. I've basically taken a break, and I didn't make any sort of paper weapons up until this year of 2023. That's a hint for a new video that might come out, or might not, who knows. But yeah, I think I definitely would do this again. Demon Slayer is like definitely in, I'm gonna get flamed for this, but it's definitely one of my favorite mangas and animes, I guess. It's sort of beloved, I love it, and you know, people can sort of shit on it as much as they want, but it's my favorite, and I'm not gonna let that bring me down. So if I were given the chance to do this again, I would. Would I do it differently? Yeah, definitely. I would have definitely prepared more. This time I'm more prepared because I already did, like, drew out the templates, and I already have, you know, first like a hand experience. And I probably would prepare more paper because I was sort of running thin midway through. I definitely would also extend the time. I think I would do it like a month. I think a month would be good. But yeah, and also what made this project probably worse for me was that I recorded a lot of this, and this was going to be a YouTube video. It was going to be like, I had it all planned out, and it was going to be a big YouTube video, and I put it all on my old laptop, and then my old laptop died, and it had everything on it, every recording I had, which basically meant like gigabytes of footage were all gone, and I think that was the final straw. That was probably what stopped me from doing this. And yeah, but now I don't know. Basically, I would love to do this project again, and yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the swords now. I might just sell them or throw them away. If you know me personally and you're watching this video, and if you want to buy them, hit me up. You can still buy them. And yeah, I don't really know how to end the video, but I guess I'll say this: if you love Demon Slayer and you love doing this type of stuff, like making things, then please share this with any friends or any family members or just anybody who you think would like this, because this is my passion, and if someone is interested in this passion and wants to do it themselves, then they should try it, and I hope this video would give inspiration to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say, and I'm not good at concluding things, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed watching my failed project, in quotation marks. And yeah, please subscribe and like and do all that good stuff, and I don't know, go buy some ice cream, I guess. Go eat some ice cream. Alright, goodbye.